There's something almost invisible that changes with age, the way we experience time when something unexpected happens. When you're younger and you stumble, you laugh it off, get up, and move on. But as the years add their quiet weight, even a small misstep can feel heavier, more uncertain. A few minutes on the floor waiting for someone to notice may stretch into what feels like an eternity. And yet, this doesn't mean you've become fragile in spirit. It simply means your body asks for a different kind of care, a slower, wiser rhythm of living. It's natural to want to believe that nothing serious will ever happen to you. After all, you've built habits of independence over decades, and it's not easy to admit that sometimes you might need help quickly. But isn't there a certain dignity in acknowledging reality with kindness, rather than resisting it with denial? The truth is, awareness itself is a form of strength. Knowing that emergencies can happen doesn't make you weak, it makes you prepared. Think about the places where you spend most of your time, your living room, your kitchen, perhaps the little corner where you like to read. If something unexpected happened there, how easy would it be for someone to reach you? Would you be able to reach out for help, or would you find yourself waiting, hoping, and counting the seconds? These are not questions meant to frighten you, but gentle reminders to reflect on the spaces you move through every day. Aging teaches us that life's smallest details, the rug underfoot, the position of a phone, the distance to the door, can become the things that decide whether help arrives swiftly or slowly. And this reflection doesn't have to fill you with worry. On the contrary, it can become a source of peace. Because once you see the truth clearly, you can make quiet adjustments that let you breathe easier. Preparation is not about expecting the worst. It's about honoring the life you've built and giving it the safety it deserves. Tell me, do you live in a busy city, in the calm of the countryside, or somewhere in between? Share it in the comments, because where you are shapes how quickly help can find its way to you, and together we can think about ways to make that journey shorter and safer. One of the gentlest but most powerful changes you can bring into your daily life is carrying help with you, right on your wrist or around your neck. It may look like a small pendant or feel like a simple watch, but in truth it can become a silent companion that gives you peace of mind, both in the quiet moments and in the unexpected ones. Margaret, 78, once shared her story with me. She lives alone in a small house, full of memories and photos of her children and grandchildren. One winter evening, while reaching for a pan in the kitchen, she lost her balance and slipped on the tiled floor. The pain in her hip told her immediately that she could not stand on her own. She felt fear, but also a strange clarity. Around her neck hung a small pendant she had almost forgotten she was wearing. With one press, she knew help was on its way. Within minutes, her neighbor was knocking at the door, and an ambulance was pulling into the driveway. Later, she said, "It wasn't just a button. It felt like someone was already with me, even before the door opened." Isn't that a beautiful way to think of it? Not as technology, but as companionship. Perhaps you wonder if such a device would feel uncomfortable or unnecessary, or even like an admission that you can't manage alone anymore. But the truth is, wearing one doesn't take away your independence. It actually protects it. Because with this small safeguard, you gain the freedom to cook, garden, or walk from room to room with less worry. And when you feel safe, you live more fully, not less. If you consider this step for yourself, there are a few gentle things you can do. Look into what's available in your area. Some devices connect directly to local emergency services, while others first alert family or neighbors. Choose one that feels natural to wear, something you won't want to take off at the end of the day. Most importantly, test it regularly, the way you might test a smoke detector, so you can trust it without hesitation. This isn't about surrounding yourself with alarms. It's about building a quiet sense of trust in your daily life. You may find yourself asking, "Would I really use it?" And the answer is yes. If the time ever came, you would be grateful for its presence. Even knowing it is there can bring a lightness to your steps, a calmness to your evenings, a reassurance when the house is silent and the night feels long. If these thoughts resonate with you, and if Margaret's story made you pause for a moment of reflection, I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss the next gentle piece of guidance we'll explore together. Sometimes a single small shift, like wearing help on your wrist or around your neck, can make the difference between fear and calm, between waiting and uncertainty and being supported in time. There is something about emergencies that teaches us how precious each minute really is. When we are young, the body often has a wide margin of safety. A stumble, a racing heartbeat, even a dizzy spell may pass quickly without lasting harm. But as we grow older, those same moments can unfold differently, sometimes more sharply, sometimes with consequences that deepen the longer we wait. This isn't a reason to live in fear. It's a reminder that the body in its later years speaks a new language, one that asks us to respond sooner and more gently. Doctors often explain it this way: with age, our systems slow in their recovery. The bones that once bent may now break. The heart that once steadied itself may need immediate support. The brain that once shook off a brief lack of oxygen may now need careful attention right away. This isn't a reason to live in fear. It's a reminder that the body in its later years speaks a new language, one that asks us to respond sooner and more gently. Doctors often explain it this way: with age, our systems slow in their recovery. The bones that once bent may now break. The heart that once steadied itself may need immediate support. The brain that once shook off a brief lack of oxygen may now need careful attention right away. For example, a younger person who falls might stand up with little more than a bruise. But for someone in their 70s, that same fall could mean a fracture, and every extra minute without help increases the risk of swelling, pain, or even long-term loss of mobility. A fluttering heart rhythm that feels like a brief discomfort at 40 may, at 70, carry a higher risk of becoming something dangerous if ignored. And what feels like a small dizziness may actually be your body signaling a deeper imbalance that requires quick care. You see, it's not that the body is betraying you. It's simply that time changes the balance. What once healed quietly on its own now benefits from faster attention. Knowing this isn't a burden, it's a form of wisdom. Because when you understand that minutes matter, you give yourself the gift of not hesitating. You call sooner, you reach out faster, and you trust that help is not weakness but strength. Sometimes people hesitate because they don't want to bother anyone. Perhaps you felt that way too, thinking, it's probably nothing, I don't want to trouble my family or call the doctor for no reason. But if you pause and reflect, isn't your well-being worth that call? Isn't a few moments of someone's time far better than risking your health for hours of waiting? By allowing yourself to seek help quickly, you're not only protecting your body, you're also protecting your independence. Because a smaller issue treated early may prevent it from becoming something that truly limits your life. So perhaps the gentle question to ask yourself is this: if something unusual happens, what matters more? Avoiding the small inconvenience of calling, or honoring your own safety and giving your body the support it deserves? When you carry that wisdom with you, every choice becomes easier, and every minute feels less heavy, because you already know that reaching for help is not a sign of weakness, but of care. Sometimes the safest changes are not grand or dramatic, but quiet and practical, woven gently into the spaces you move through every day. Your home, the place where you rest and feel most yourself, can also become the place that protects you when something unexpected happens. Think of it as creating small pathways of safety that stand ready without disturbing your comfort. One of the simplest but most important steps is to make sure vital information is easy to find. Imagine an emergency responder arriving at your door. If your medications, allergies, or doctor's details are written clearly and placed where they can see them, perhaps on the refrigerator or near the front door, precious minutes are saved. It is a small effort today that could bring immense relief in a stressful moment. Another gentle safeguard is sharing access to your home. A spare key tucked under a mat may feel convenient, but it is not always safe. A small lockbox attached securely outside your door, with the code shared only with a trusted neighbor, family member, or caregiver, can mean help reaches you faster if you are unable to get to the door yourself. It may feel strange to plan for that, but consider the peace of mind it gives, knowing that someone can come to your side without delay. Communication is another thread in this fabric of safety. Phones or emergency call buttons should not be tucked away in just one room. Place them where you spend your time, by the bed, near your favorite chair, even in the bathroom where slips are most common. You do not need to fill your home with devices, only to give yourself the reassurance that wherever you are, you won't feel cut off from reaching out. And then there is the simple act of looking at the floor beneath your feet. Rugs, wires, or small pieces of furniture may seem harmless, but they can be the very things that trip you at an unexpected moment. Clearing a pathway is not about stripping away the warmth of your home, but about giving yourself the freedom to move with ease and confidence. Each of these steps may seem small in itself, yet together they create a home that quietly supports you. Preparation is not a burden. It is an act of love for yourself and for those who care about you. When you know your home is ready, you can walk through it with lighter steps, not fearing what might happen, but trusting that you've already given yourself the best chance to be safe. Isn't it comforting to think that with just a few thoughtful touches, the place that holds your memories can also hold your protection? There is a moment when something unexpected happens that feels longer than any clock can measure. You call for help or press a button, and then you wait. Those minutes, though short on paper, can feel endless to the heart. What you do in that space of waiting matters, not only for your body, but for your spirit. Many people believe that panic is natural, even necessary, as if fear proves how much you want to live. But in truth, panic drains the very energy you need to stay steady. It clouds your breathing, quickens your heart, and makes every second heavier. Calmness, on the other hand, is not weakness. It is a quiet strength, a way of giving your body the best chance to endure until help arrives. Think of calm not as the absence of fear, but as the presence of trust. Trust in your preparation, trust in those who are on their way, trust in your own resilience. One gentle way to invite calmness is through words. Some people repeat a simple phrase, like, "Help is coming, I am safe." Others focus on breathing slowly, counting each inhale and exhale as if they are tiny anchors keeping them steady in the storm. You might ask yourself now, what phrase would bring you comfort if you ever needed it? Which words feel like a hand on your shoulder, reminding you that you are not alone?
Another helpful practice is to think ahead about who you would want responders to call for you. Having that name in your heart can make you feel less isolated because you know the circle of care will widen quickly beyond those first responders. It could be a child, a sibling, a trusted friend, the person whose voice would calm you most if it came through the phone. When you prepare this in advance, you lighten the emotional weight of waiting. I once spoke with Daniel, who is 81. He told me that after a fall, what frightened him most wasn't the pain, but the silence of the minutes before help arrived. Later, he began practicing a simple breathing exercise each evening, telling himself, "I can wait with peace." When another small incident happened months later, he used that practice. He said, "I still felt fear, but it didn't own me. I knew what to do with my mind until help came." That is the quiet power of preparation, not just physical, but emotional. Emergencies may never disappear from life, but fear does not have to rule them. With gentle planning, both in your home and in your heart, you can face those moments with more peace than panic, more trust than despair. If even one idea here has touched you or given you comfort, I invite you to subscribe so together we can continue building these small circles of safety and wisdom. And tell me in the comments, what is the one small change you feel ready to make today to bring yourself more calm and security?